Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 7th and 8th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline Comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kilber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday night as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome to That Silverline Show on Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim TK, and I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Quentin Bedwell.
Dr. Quentin Bedwell.
Dr. Professor Mr. Quentin Bedwell.
Dr. Quentin Bedwell, medicine woman?
That's right.
Yeah. And we also have Jose Fuentes.
He who wears the crown.
Yes. And we're also joined by Peter's Banner, all the way from the UK.
Yeah.
I just realized I was there. Welcome on the stream, Pete.
Yeah. We are the laid back Silverline Show, and today's gonna be kind of a laid back topic. We're talking about National Comic Book Day. And keep in mind, this is not National Free Comic Book Day, which is May 7th. This is National Comic Book Day, which is a day that's been around for at least a decade. I'm not sure when the first time it was celebrated, but it's about the creators in the comic industry and celebrating comics in more ways than just getting free stuff.
It's celebrating us.
Yes.
I mean, wait, we're not getting free stuff today?
Nope.
No.
Oh, man.
But neither are viewers, but they can support us by buying our comics.
That's right.
Through Indie Planet, on our Kickstarters, what have you. Let me double check something real quick here since we're talking about
I made the comment to Tim before the show. The comic book day we're referring to this time is the comic book day where we honor comic book artists and workers, writers. The other comic book day, the free comic book day, is where we starve them to death.
That's right.
Yes.
We make them work for free.
Okay, where did it go? Others. Okay, speaking
I'd also
of
like to do a shout out to Aaron, who is with us from time to time. It is his birthday today.
It is.
Happy birthday, Aaron.
Yes,
If
happy
you're
birthday,
watching, I hope your spanking wasn't too bad.
Yes. It's probably out with his friends doing bar trivia to celebrate her. Some such.
Yep.
So speaking of supporting us, our most recent Kickstarter finished 2 days ago. We got $1,000 over goal. So thank you everyone who supported that. Make sure to check in under Kickstarter frequently to get the notification to fill out the survey so we can mail it to you. I feel like
It's
every
important.
yes,
If you
Yeah.
want your book, you will fill out the survey.
yes,
If you want your rewards.
every Kickstarter always get more messages from people asking where their book is, and we have to ask them, well, did you fill out the survey, because we need to know where to mail it to. There you go. And that's about that for things we have coming out. More news on Kickstarters in the future.
Yeah, guys, we got Kickstarters already lined up. We as Silverliners don't know exactly which ones, but we have a good idea. So yeah, look for them near in the future.
Yeah,
we got some coming right down the pike. They're lined up.
Because we are a publishing house, we've got a bunch of different teams all working different books. You don't necessarily know which one was where. We just know, the general titles we have in the pipeline. And so, so when one's ready, it's out, and then we can all promote it.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I'm able to keep up a little bit with the process. But once I get the penciling done, like sometimes I don't really know when everything's done.
Right.
Like down the line, the inks, the coloring, and all that. I know with you, Tim, it must be, really crazy.
Yeah, because I finished writing Wolf Hunter issue number 3 like a year ago at this point. So, or over.
Yeah.
So
Don't shatter the magic.
I know, but once they start getting promoted, I have to go back and recall okay, what was I thinking at this point in time when I was writing this? So you write something, you get it sent off, and then you're on to the next project. But so speaking also of being a comic creator, if you are watching this or listening to the podcast later on, and you want to embark on your journey becoming a comic creator, and you already have something in portfolio going, you can go to Silverline.com, click on submissions, send us your writing, send us your art. We're always looking for people, and we are very welcoming of anyone and anything who wants to create a story. If you have a cat that's well skilled in penciling, I'm sure he'll take it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's our favorite, actually.
All right. So a little bit of fun facts here about National Comic Book Day. Well, first of all, I'll ask you guys, were you guys aware of National Comic Book Day?
Yes.
I had actually heard about it, but I got it like probably most people got it mixed up with Free Comic Book Day. So I was planning a trip to my local comic book store, but now I've, now thanks to Tim explaining it to me, I've decided no.
Well, I'll be going because we did just also have Batman Day, where you got some free Batman stuff from DC posted up. But it's the 25th of September every year, and I believe it was originally put together by.
I did a piece for Batman Day.
Ooh,
did you?
Yes. That I can share.
Make it big. Make him big, Tim.
Yes, let's get you full screen here. Ooh.
Oh, Clayface.
Yes.
So Clayface is one of my favorite Batman villains.
He's a great one. Yeah. Billy's was created by fans of Marvel and DC to celebrate the people that they enjoyed their work from. So go ahead. We're gonna say something, Jose? No? Okay. Sure. So a little bit of fun facts about comics here, since it is the day celebrating it. What some consider to be the first real comic book came out in 1933, a book called Famous Funnies. Reprinting of comic strips thrown together into an actual book. And then 1842 is the first hardcover comic book called The Adventures of Obadiah Oldbuck, which I don't know if anyone has actually read. I believe it's something that you just like put in the back of your head when you're like you get into comics and then you forget about it.
I read
I've
it
never
every
even
day.
heard of
It's
that.
it's an ongoing series.
Yes.
They're on issue 6,000.
They might be at this point. Yeah. All right. So since this is a day primarily just about celebrating our comics and their creators, I figure we kind of take this into a little bit more of a freeform discussion, talking about our favorite creators, our favorite way to interact with comics and the media they created, and you know how has branched on to more of the comic book culture. So obviously we can talk about how 1842 Obadiah Oldbuck eventually led to Quentin's wall of Marvel and DC figures.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So what are, besides, obviously buying and reading comics is great, but besides that, what are some of your favorite ways of interacting with comic created media? Like, if, do you have to love like the TV shows or extra media coming in? Or are you strictly just in the books and obviously figures? Any particular games or weird oddities about the thing that you like collecting? Does anyone collect the little like pins for your backpack that are in every comic book shop next to the checkout?
So I used to. This is gonna sound weird. I love the pins, right? The little pins, and I know that people actually have to press to make their own, which is super cool.
Yeah.
In high school, I used to go up to like my punk rocker friends and whatnot, and like snatch the pins off their jackets. All the band pins on their leather jackets. Which, if you know anything about leather jackets, those aren't easy. But I managed to snatch them without them noticing, right? And so now I think I'm getting karma for that because I can't keep a pin on my backpack to save my life without it busting off somewhere. But like some of that stuff is cool. Like I like some of the free stuff. Like it's really neat that the people that will create certain things and then just like put them on their table to pass out. Like I have stickers when I do conventions normally. The last one we did, I ran out, so I didn't have any with me. But I love stickers. I love like especially like when creator owned, and I think that stems from my time hanging out with punk rockers when we used to do the DIY stickers for punk shows. So the stuff like that, like I love it. I love comics. I have way too many, I'm sure. But thankfully, I just tell my wife that they're research.
Yes.
It's all reference, babes. It's all reference.
Maybe.
Well, you're not wrong either, right? I mean, it kind of is, and it's something you enjoy, and it's and it's research. I know I don't think I buy one single comic that I don't study.
Right?
Yeah, I like that, but also it's motivational if you like get something that's like really good. That's like you're like, oh, I want to create something that, like matches or exceeds this now. Like, it's really hard for me to read a comic now without immediately wanting to go back and start writing right afterwards.
Yeah, that's how when I'm not really feeling it, that's what I do. I just pick up a comic and man, I'll be in the zone in no time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm speaking of free stuff. And if you're a con goer, a lot of the things at tables, like they can be free. So don't be afraid to ask. Like I have people at Daytona asking about the bookmarks. I'm like, no, just take them.
please.
Yes. But man, the DIY patches and stickers like takes me back. I can't draw. We talked about this, but maybe next time we'll do is I'll get some DIY sticker pads because I can do the Stussy S. So let's be talking about Stussy stickers.
But yeah, like, and I mean, I think all of us, I mean, we have to love comics if we're trying to make this our business. You know what I mean? Trying to make this is our life. Like, this is all I do is sit on my butt and draw pretty pictures. Not as pretty as Quentin's. Quentin's is amazing.
Every time Quentin does something, that kind of blows my mind.
I'm well, one issue, I'm a really huge perfectionist, so it's kind of it's a disease. So sometimes I spend a lot of time on stuff I shouldn't, I should just let it go. But comics to me, man, I don't even know why I don't even know why I love comics so much. I mean, honestly, I really don't, because it seems like if it was about money, there's plenty of things that you can do to make money. I
Right.
mean, there's plenty of stuff that you could do, to make money, but it's not that. It's I don't know, like from even a little kid, like picking up my first one, it just drew me in, and from that point on, like I just love comics. I love to look at them. I love to study them. I love to read them. There's just not another, and I couldn't really put my finger on one single thing about it. I mean, but I just love to look at them. I just love everything about them. I don't love every comic, but I mean,
Mhm.
I like to do them. It's almost like having a voice and being able to express yourself. Whereas you're not really able to a lot of, I mean, if I was a director of movies, I'd have to have, hundreds of people and directing them to do things, lighting and
Mhm.
camera angles and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but with me being an artist, man, it's almost like being on, I get to control the lighting. I get to control the camera angles. I get to control, and I can tell the same story. Of course, I have to tell it a little bit different, but in images,
Yeah.
it's just such an awesome format.
Mhm.
And it's getting lost, seems like today, due to animation and movies and all this kind of stuff, but and games. It is really an awesome art form. It
Yeah.
really is an awesome, and there's nothing else like it. And what's crazy about it is the limitation of it is also, in a weird way, the charm of it.
Yeah.
So what other people would consider a limitation, because there's no motion, there's no sound effects, there's no, big, huge budgets or anything. But at the same time, there's just something about them. When you pick one up and you look at it, you read it, all of a sudden you're in your head fitting all that stuff together.
Yep.
I just love comics.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, yeah,
And I
that's
appreciate what you said, Jose. I work really hard, but you know how it is, though. Man, there's just so much I need to learn still.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's never ending. It's
Yeah.
never ending.
Yeah, well, that's was it Hourglass had a quote. It was primarily aimed for writing, but I believe it works for any medium. Hourglass is a big screenwriter for TV in the 80s, 90s, and now he does the This American Life show with
cool.
NPR. But as you get into the game, the game of creating stuff, because you have good taste, but your skill doesn't match that taste. So you work on your skill.
Yep.
But at the same time, as your skill improves, so does your taste. So you might get to the point where you kind of plateau and they're nearby, but then you're going to find something which elevates your taste, and then your skill's going to try to rise and get you out again. So you're always at this point where you always feel like you're trying to pursue this new goal, and so you'd never realize where your skill is or how far you surpassed your original taste. But people on the outside will be able to see that, because then they're starting that journey of they're developing their taste and they're seeing what you're doing, and then they're developing their skill to match what your skill and taste was.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't want, I can't expound on that any more than what it is, but like, I mean, to kind of, for me to break it down a little bit, you know what I mean? Because obviously we all started off as fans of comics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hear just like the passion and the love for it when Quentin talks, but we all started out as fans. Like we're looking at the art, we pick up a comic, we're like, oh man, it's awesome. I want to like draw this. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is what I see. Here's what I want to draw. And then as you become like more in love with it and more want to draw more of it, you know what I mean? Your skill and your talent is going to increase. You know what I mean? But then like to me now, I don't just like pick up comics because I love the artwork. I love to pick it up and like dissect the colors and dissect like how did they color? How did they get this particular render in the color? How did they get this line? Can I tell whether or not it was digital or traditional? Can I tell whether or not it was ink with a brush or a crow quill? Like that's what I look at when I see a comic. It's not just like the art. This is a great story. I love this superhero. Yay! It's how can I break this apart and like kind of
and
piece
see
it together.
That's what I'm talking about, Jose. It's like why is your brain even going to that place when you look at a comic? Why are you even worried about it? Like you're looking at it and all of a sudden that's where your mind goes. Right. You know, whereas a lot of people, they just look at comics as just something to consume and move on, you know, but
because we're neurotic.
To some people that get the bug, you know, it's just like, it's not just a book, you know, it's like something you're going to pore over and you're going to read it 4 or 5 times. You know, you're going to look at it. You're going to study it. You're going to, you know, and I can't say why that is the way it is. But every, you know, like what Jose just explained right there, every comic book person that I know that does comics that has love for it, that's the kind of stuff they talk about. They have a deeper, like, you know, connection to it.
Yeah.
And just anybody. And it's amazing. Like, and you're wondering why, what is the draw of this still medium? You know, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it is, you know?
I mean, when I read a comic, I immediately like, I'll pick one up if it's like my favorite hero and I have that very much, they're doing something cool with them. Yay moment. But then when I actually go through read it, I kind of do the same thing for writing. I look to see like how well paced is it? Is the dialogue unique to each character? Is there a concentrated tone, or does it carry impact? Is it saying anything? But yeah, it's really weird looking at all that. And there's talking about like, I mean, you can have comics that fall into like any genre, so it almost doesn't. What I'm about to say almost doesn't really work because you can have fantastic nonfiction comics. There's actually a really good one that's on John Brown. So if you like history, there's a John Brown comic. But the idea of like fantastical fiction, you know, kind of goes back to that idea of catharsis, right? It's the ability of creating an emotional release outside of your body because you can't really like, you know, human beings are complex. They end up packing a lot of weird emotions from just everything you go from the day. Like if there was someone like an apocalypse and I could just actually like beat the living crap out of them right now, that'd be fantastic. Or like the amount of high school guys who like worked out all their complex emotions because they're going through their first relationship with Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, and then agree for that relationship dying. Like, be able to experience that catharsis through a comic. There's there, but you can get that almost any medium. So there is this really weird, profound effect where you get like it's a modern mythology of comics being able to provide those experiences for us, and it's almost weird to explain other than the fact that human brains are weird.
Aren't they though? Yeah. I mean, because you know, just like we're doing that, you know, we're talking about comics and stuff. I'm sure there's people who watch movies and they're like, just like we're studying these comics, you know, and we're looking at the artists and we're breaking them to pieces, you know, trying to figure out what's making this so good. And we're looking at the writing and we're looking at all the, you know, the lettering, even the placement of the lettering boxes and stuff, you know. I got to imagine that there are some people who are in love with film and they're watching movies and can't hardly watch the movie because they're picking apart the process that went into it. And those are people that are just destined. They love the film industry. They love everything about film, but here we are, you know, comics is our deal. So, you know, that's kind of what what draws us in, you know?
I mean, I sure annoy some people because I will absolutely like, tear a comic apart if it has poor lettering. Because we're like looking over something else. Like, no, these boxes are wrong. But I have a friend who, I mean, talked about on the show before, but I do miniature wargaming, and part of those tournaments usually is a best painted or best presented army. It's our friend, and that's his thing. He loves spending hours just painting stuff, but then also crafting a set piece to put them in and creating like a full like foam board, sculpting terrain, all that. So he's really into set dressing. So now he'll go back and watch, Lord of the Rings and these other, and like anything in fantasy or science fiction. He'll break down the set dressing in each like frame and whatever, and like talk about like what he thinks is like good placement of props and like blocking of objects, and what he thinks is too busy or what they're too sparse. And it's a really weird conversation to have because I'm like, I'm not getting any of this. But I'm sure when I talk about lettering, he feels the same way.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of talk about that. But obviously, you can enjoy comics in ways outside just the comic itself. And we ended up developing fandoms for the properties that we grew up with, and we fall in love with the medium in the first place. I mean, obviously, I will buy just about anything X-Men related. Let me see if I can get. And here's a Sabretooth I've yet to prime and paint, but here's.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Good on, Tim.
I know. I got to get there and paint all that. But my collection of miniatures pales in comparison to Quentin's wall of collectibles and figures. Walls, yeah.
It's a disease.
So, Quentin, can you talk to us about your journey going from comics to collecting, and what made you want to buy these toys, and why do you buy the toys you do?
When I was growing up, there is a connection to comics. When I was growing up, the first comic that I think that I can remember that I actually noticed was Secret Wars. I've kind of told this before.
Nice. Yep.
But that sent me on an adventure to get these Mattel Secret Wars toys. And I got a few of them, but anyway, of course, I collected He-Man because you could get little comics in the He-Man. So now I have a wall of He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I had gotten out of collecting, of course, as I got older. You get older, you get into chasing, females. You get to that age, and you just kind of have to put your nerdism aside. And you start doing, oh no, I don't collect toys or read comic books, But anyway, what ended up happening is I wanted to get, I just wanted to dip my toes in the water of getting my favorite villains, and that's how it started. And then it became, what if I could go back and I could get, once I discovered Marvel Legends, I was like, what if I could get all the Marvel Legends that are in Secret Wars, and I could just set up a diorama. And that's how that started.
No.
That's how this really all started, was trying to do this diorama of Secret Wars people, characters. And anyway, so it's really kind of gotten out of, I've kind of started scribbling out of the lines with my collecting. So now I've got Masters of the Universe, Marvel Legends. I've got some Predator NECA stuff, from the movies. I've got Halo. Now I have to have like a figure to represent everything I love for some reason. Yeah. Pretty soon I'll have voodoo dolls of Jose and Tim.
There you go.
So that I can, yeah. I'll have a shelf
make sure
for
you size them proportionately.
Yeah. Well, the other side of that, though, is I like to create stuff. I like to craft stuff. So that was one of the draws of it, too, is I like to do dioramas. And I do dioramas. Yeah. So I just like to, set them up. And I, honestly, and this has been an excuse at times, it's not a bad thing to have an action figure. Like whenever you want to get some lighting, it's really handy to be able to just reach over and grab a figure and put it under the light and do the light
Mhm.
at a different direction and sit there and draw where the shadows are falling and stuff.
Yep.
It's actually a kind of one of the excuses that I have for my addiction, but it is, as they say, plastic crack. So,
Yes.
which by the way, I have.
You know, plastic crack.
This is
Yeah.
a special episode. I
We
got
got
this
a
in
juicy
today.
exclusive.
I think this is a good.
Yes. Catch up
We're
on the
gonna
big
have
screen.
us an unboxing tonight, folks.
Hide the address.
Yes.
Where's the opaque thing? The
Right,
blur?
yeah, this is the Gaussian blur.
Yeah.
All right. This is all a trick. This is like actually I'm gonna pull out like a human severed head out of here.
This is actually all a commercial
What's
for the
in
new
the
Harvey's.
box?
Okay, before I pull this out and I show you, I've been after this guy. They've released him
Ooh.
once and then like sold out. The secondary market has been unreal ridiculous trying to get this guy. And then so now they've re-released him and he's got better articulation and everything, but it's been so tough. So here we go.
Ooh.
RoboCop.
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it from Target.
Nice. Great casing. Yeah.
Man, he looks awesome. I can't wait to get him out of the package.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to put him right beside my Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator.
Yes.
When I was in high school talking about comics, I did a comic of RoboCop versus Terminator. I actually got put in the paper for doing it.
Nice.
That was one of the things. I'm telling you, man, stuff like comics and
Yeah.
collecting, and I mean, this stuff hits you when you're young. You
Mhm.
know, I don't even know how much control we have over this thing. It's just like it's like a bug you get, you know, and you.
That's a whole other discussion. Nature versus nurture comic books.
Yeah. Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
RoboCop. Glad to see this.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I know for one weird thing that like may not be like too on the nose, but one of my favorite ways of interacting with comic book stuff, oh good news here, is actually through Jose and I have talked about stuff like this before. Before I get into it, I did pick up a new book for Vampire the Masquerade, since that is kind of our thing. So I think Jose is frozen.
I think
no.
he is.
Yes.
Is he? Or maybe he's just
Jose is either very, very stoked right now or frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his connection went down.
Oh, yep.
Oh, there he
Okay.
goes. Boom.
I feel bad because Jose is my fellow goth kid, but I picked up the book on the Second Inquisition for Vampire the Masquerade, so that's fun. But one reason I'm directing with superhero stuff is actually through the old Champions lore and that whole game system. Yes.
I played that years ago. I don't know if it was that one. But
this is a new edition, but yeah.
I played back in the late 90s a superhero RPG. It was so cool. I was a speed character.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of they had it really worked out, you know, where you couldn't be too overpowered though, like because however powerful you'd be is how badly your like weakness would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, first thing to take cons along with your pros. We do have a character in the group that we're wanting to play together. We haven't had time to get this session going. Who is he is a telepath, and no, Jose's internet went down, so he will be back once that gets fixed. But yeah, his whole thing is the Xavier paradox, where he doesn't really kill people. He just manipulates them into doing some stuff that might be ethically worse than killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun game, and it's any type of like super role playing game. Obviously, you'd also talk about how that ties into D&D. D&D also existing as comics in various forms. Critical Role having their D&D campaign get turned into a very successful Dark Horse series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played quite a bit of D&D. I played Vampire Masquerade once, but I almost played another time, and I went back and refreshed myself on the rules because the friend group that I was going to, they were having a game. I went through and I read up on the rules again. I got on YouTube and I was looking at, all kinds of stuff. And then I got there and they weren't playing that night. After all that, and we never did play. We ended up playing some other thing like Hero Clicks or something.
Sure.
And that's kind of the way it is when you have a friend group. For first of all, it's trying to get schedules together, and then once you get that, then it's like, well, everybody's into this, and then if you fool around too long, then people will be more into this.
Exactly.
Of course, there's always the go-tos like D&D, and usually I don't know about with yours, Tim, but Magic or
we if we lose our role playing game group, then usually just defaults into playing Commander.
Yep, that's us. Or that was us. I'm not there anymore, so I moved.
Yeah, that's
hard too.
It's unfortunate thing about how group reliant those types of games are, and then if you have a local game shop, it's great. But if you don't, then finding another group like that is hard.
It is, and feeling like you mesh.
Mm-hmm.
With and a lot of these guys that I moved away from, I've been friends with them since the 90s. So like hard to replace that.
Yeah. But as we were talking about interacting with comics and similar media, back and forth through role-playing games, the champion system being a big one.
Masterminds.
Yes. We did also mention Vampire the Masquerade since I got a new source book for that. But
which one?
That's the new Second Inquisition book.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
A friend of mine just got the new Hunter book, the Reckoning book.
Yeah. So there's one for the Reckoning, and then also one for the Gehenna War, which looked interesting. But my group, we're deep into I think it was Inquisition storyline, so it's inappropriate. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe Inquisition.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So maybe we'll have to see. Talk about how he had gone through a whole period of time trying to refresh on the rules, and then his group did not end up playing Vampire that night. So
and we never did play.
Maybe we'll have to see if we can do like a one-off for like a Halloween show or something like that.
Man, I tell you what, I would love that, and we should plan that. Honestly, we should have a RPG night. For our Tuesday night show.
I have total creative control, so if we want to do that, I can make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I don't know how we'll, split the royalties or anything for that, but you know.
Yeah. Tentatively put a pin in it. The show closest to Halloween for Tuesday night is going to be Vampire the Masquerade or something like that. Yeah. We have Tuesday 25th and Tuesday November 1st. Let's do the 25th. We'll do Tuesday 25th. We'll get Quentin's vampire session in finally.
That's right.
Yes.
And also talk about how now it'll begin this kind of fun cross-pollination where D&D and other things are also migrating into comics with shows like Critical Role getting a Dark Horse series. So let's we can take things and also talk about like whatever some of our favorite, comic moments or things that happen in comics that aren't necessarily,
I've often wondered how many comics or stories for shows and all these other things have been the result of a game that some creators
Oh,
played.
for sure, yeah.
Right.
And I actually happen to know there's a few that are and
Yeah.
known to be direct translations of people's games.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a few like fantasy series that were just the group took their D&D game and put it into a comic. Penny Arcade, which started out as a webcomic, now also has PAX, which is like one of the biggest convention chains in the world. They were just two guys and they played D&D off and on together. They made a webcomic together, and then they started working with D&D to create a live stream show and then also create a set of comics called Acquisitions Incorporated and the Siege.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's cool.
In fact, they created a source book
Yes.
for D&D for that. Nice.
Yeah.
I think I have that source book.
Nice.
I know I got the Wild Mount book. I think I have that one. I gotta go.
Yeah. But yeah, that got started because of a webcomic, which is kind of
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's fun.
But I know online another webcomic was I'm gonna ruin it. Something dinner table, right? Knights of the Dinner Table.
Oh, yeah.
That started off. I'm pretty sure that started off as a webcomic as well.
Yes.
Based off of like their role playing games, and then a friend of mine, part of my role playing group, like several years back, introduced me to, and I know you're gonna know what it is, Tim, but it's a movie about the people's D&D game, and it's about the bard keeps dying and he keeps playing. He's got like multiple character sheets of his bard. So like every time like there's this battle like where they're like, you know, in the movie they're doing the battle when it's supposed to be what they're doing on the table, and every time the bard dies, so like there's a stack of bard characters on top of each other.
Yes. Like, oh god, sorry, but there's also a movie that is based off of this same concept called The Knights of Baddesdom.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. We're it's not a good movie, but it's a great movie.
But yeah, I mean that is an entertaining movie.
Yes. Yeah. Right. All that kind of stuff is great. Train of thought went.
Oh
well, I will say this as far as comics go, how this leads back is, you know, all these things, these games and things, they do nothing but just help creativity.
Well, that's
what we do for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's Pat Rothfuss. He the guy who wrote the King Killer Chronicles. His advice for young writers coming out of college or high school was like start dungeon mastering a game of D&D or whatever role-playing game. He's saying, you know, a lot of people when they get started writing or creating, you're going one step at a time. But if you can do that, you're in a fun setting with help from your friends. So you're jumping ahead 5 steps at a time when you're doing that.
Yes, but on the other end of that, don't DM.
Yeah.
Not unless you want to lose your mind.
The amount of work that goes into, and I'm talking free work, just out of for the sake of fun, that goes into DMing, putting a game together. Holy moly, man!
Yeah, about an hour of prep for an hour of gameplay, and we play about 4 hours a week. So, yeah. But yeah, it's even worse for our vampire game because that's all homebrew.
Oh yeah,
it really.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. Is, you know, that's not to even mention, you know, homebrew stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, there's some basic settings and whatnot.
100%. Yeah.
It really is. DMing is definitely bittersweet.
Well, that's then we're close enough that we probably could have used the Seattle by Night book, but we wanted to do Portland because, you know, if you're,
I actually pulled up. I ran a vampire game with some friends, and it was based out of Indiana or Indianapolis. And I actually pulled up the Google Maps of, like, that gives you the 3D map of Indianapolis, so that they would have reference. Because I was from there, you know what I mean. I lived there, and I grew up around the area, and they didn't. So it's easier just to do that.
Oh
yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, we had a moment where this is like how it ties into like improvising as a writer and having your own thing. But then in Portland, there is a graveyard that used to just be the Civil War graveyard. Because when fighting the Oregon was an estate, we sent volunteers to fight for the Union. So when they came back, we buried them there. It ended up getting expanded, got turned into a separate graveyard, and then recently they changed it so there are two separate graveyards on the same plot of land. And so I had a fun idea, like, what was cool if there's like in one like the old Civil War like mausoleums, there was a old vampire that was in torpor down there, and they had to go grab an artifact off this vampire. Oh, and but as I was describing that, I get there and realize that I didn't write down the name of this graveyard, and no one knew what the new name was. So we had to go through Google Maps, do all the research, figure out like which half was which, and we had fun with it. But just go over like, and the moment probably was like, instead of naming it something like the Civil War graveyard on commercial,
Yeah.
that one.
You know, one of the things that I love the most about role playing, RPGs in general is, or just gaming together with people, like online or whatever, is, hey, you remember that time we went through and we did this, we went through this dungeon and we killed this thing, and it's, if anybody was listening outside of the conversation, they think you were nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was working at in receiving at this place up north, and it was me and a couple young kids. Like, I mean, to me they were young. They're like in their 20s and whatnot, right? And they're sitting over there talking like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. And I had the red pot and like I had to get some blue pots, and I'm like, are they talking about drugs like behind me? I'm like, I'm kind of your boss, dude. Like, what are you doing? And then I found out they were talking about potions from World of Warcraft.
Nice, yes.
And like finally, I had to ask him. I was like, "What are you talking about, dude? Seriously, if anybody comes in here, like, what are you talking about? Like, we're talking about this game." And I'm like, "Oh man, I feel like an idiot."
Maybe that will time back to comics. Maybe that's kind of why we kind of get drawn to it, and naturally is the same reason why like you have these moments from role playing games and other things like that. Is you have these larger than life memorable experiences,
right?
Yep.
Where like it's something like if you're in the community, if you're in that's like the small group of people that read comics or plays games, like they get it, and that's absolutely fantastic sharing these stories. But it's something that feels unique because I mean, before the movies, if you tried to explain the plot of Infinity War to anybody, you would sound like a lunatic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So there's a giant purple dude.
Now after the movies, if you try to explain the actual plot of Infinity War, you're gonna look like a lunatic.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a giant purple dude. He's half ancient robot god, half genetic mutation. He's in love with the concept of death.
Yeah.
When the concept's actually a person,
to him,
but it's not.
Death is an actual woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
And his name is Grimace.
That's right.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Grimace the Destroyer.
Yes.
I can see that.
I need to figure out where the copyright on Grimace is to see if I can put him into a comic.
That would be so awesome. Yeah.
Just improvise it or tweak it up a little bit so that
just gotta do like the hidden reference in the back panel, or just do it like a horror story. So we never actually fully show the monster, but everyone on the team we know it's Grimace, and if you see that line, it's Grimace.
Yeah, like that recent
Jaws, right?
horror movie, right? What was that horror movie that took? What popular franchise did they take and make a horror movie out of it? Was it Winnie the Pooh?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my son has been talking about that for like a while. I was like, Dad, they're making a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. He's like, dude, you're crazy. Like they would never do that to Winnie the Pooh. It's Winnie the Pooh. Come on.
Right.
Nope.
And they did.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh entered into public domain, so people can just kind of go ham with it, and that is the most bizarre trailer I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen it, viewers, all three of you viewers of our show, Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fantasy Island did the same thing. Like they decided to turn it from, you know what I mean? The story of what it was, where like people
Yeah.
went through, they thought they were getting what they want, and
Yeah,
then
it's
it
kind of
turned
like
bad, and then
therapy
you
for
learn a
people.
lesson,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not how it is now.
Yeah. Oh, with Winnie Pooh being public domain, we could also go ham with that if we wanted to.
Let's
Quint
do
said,
it.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, the Barbarian Warrior.
Yes, there you go. We'll turn instead of going horror with it, we'll go super action fantasy with
Right?
it.
Winnie the Pooh by night.
Yeah.
I think by night is copywritten, right?
But we could do interview with a Pooh.
Right.
Right.
That went too far.
I'll get the pitch in the group doc later. If someone wants to draw that, they can. We'll write like we'll make Winnie the Pooh into a Lestat type character.
Right.
Christopher Robin's actually a child that he embraced too young. That's why.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's good.
That's gold right there, buddy.
There you go. All right, I'll get that pitch done.
Right.
Actually, probably write that in like a couple minutes after the show. That's exactly where my brain is at in most places. I mean, we did create an entire pitch based off of a skateboarding mushroom. Yeah, this.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Make it sporting mushroom that juiced for competitions.
Yeah. Yes. We were. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Yeah. It was a mushroom who juiced for competitions and in order to win the heart of a garden gnome, and it was
wow.
If you ever like watch like an old Disney Channel like skateboard movie, it essentially was that. But with some, strong paraphernalia references.
It's a mushroom version of Gleaming the Cube.
Oh yeah.
Or what is it? The BMX one, Rad?
Rad, yes. Yeah.
Classic.
Rad, Johnny Tsunami.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We kind of
I'm so glad that I'm not the only one that knows all those old movies.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not dating myself at all, guys.
Actually, well, because Jose, you're from like the Northeast area, right?
I am in the Northeast area. That is correct.
Yeah. What's the name of it? Did you ever? I don't know if you ever had experience with or heard of. Was it is it the Cedar Woods Country Club? No. Okay. I believe it was the name of it. It might be something else, but
like you just mentioned country club. Like
that was.
I was too poor for that.
Let's see there, but
now you're gonna make me look it up, man.
Yeah, it's something Cedar something. Cedar Crest. Okay.
Cedar Crest.
So Cedar Crest Country Club. It was a country club that the owner's son let him to kind of do whatever you want with. So they built one of the largest half pipes in North America.
What?
You got in for free, so a lot of people just bummed it out there. It was big in like the 80s and 90s. I think it might still be happening, but toned down a bit. But yeah,
there's a movie about it.
Yeah, Blood and Steel. Yeah, so, but yeah.
There we go.
But speaking of comic culture, like so many zines got started out there. Just dudes writing stuff out of the back of their like Pentos, take it into like the Kinkos, and then distribute it out there.
Man, I remember those days.
Yeah, but yeah, Cedar Crest is like a whole thing. War played there, so.
Man. Wait, you said war or Guar?
Guar.
Oh man, that's
right.
Freaking cool.
Yeah,
again, showing my age. That's okay though. It was Guar.
A Guar. That sounds like something off of Skyrim.
It was a crazy, crazy band, and they wore like these big, ginormous, like cosplaying, like like helmets and
Yes.
armor and stuff like that before cosplaying was cosplaying.
I believe they're
That's
still
cool.
going if they're like the original vocalist and drummer or something like that.
What?
Yeah. Just, I mean, with their vocal style, you didn't necessarily need to have like, a young voice or good pitch. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
Maybe I think I think the aging grit kind of adds to it.
Man. I mean, if they're still going, like honestly, good for them because
Right.
that is living your dream.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, kind of go off that, but like with that weird intersection of culture, what I always think is really interesting is the amount of like weird intersections other cultures that comics have. Kind of tying it back. I mean, obviously, like with the DIY movement, comics and punk kind of like had a lot of growth together with like the start of indies and all that.
Right.
But also, I mean, like the amount of people who are into comics who are also into professional wrestling or underground hip hop is actually huge.
Like I'm sure you do. I don't remember what company it was, but they were doing comic book versions of like the origins of musical bands. They did like Nirvana
Yes,
and
yeah.
Chili Peppers. I can't remember who did it, but like I definitely picked up the ones for the bands that I listened to. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
And that was cool. Like I was like, oh man, like to kind of just like flip through a comic version of Anthony Kiedis trying to decide whether he wanted to put Under the Bridge on an album or whatnot. It was kind of neat. I mean, to
Yes.
me, it was anyway.
Yes.
I know people all feel differently about it, but
Yeah.
I just see that in comic form. I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, kind of stepping to a follow up on that, but real quickly talking about music. One of my favorite things about musical tie into comics is that in Marvel canon, the Beatles were Skrulls.
What?
So I'm hoping that we get that in Secret Invasion and some way.
Oh, man.
Skrull Beatles coming.
So Secret Invasion isn't about like the Skrulls coming over and taking over superheroes. It's about the Skrull Beatles invading into America, playing music. That's all it is. It's a flashback.
Yes, it'd be so good. But yeah, but I mean, also like our friend of Silverline and also Silverline creator John Crowther, he's kind of doing the same thing with Wrestlers, where he's doing their actual like life stories, but done as a comic book.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. He's got guys on speed dial that I grew up watching,
Right.
and it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like, when I was talking to him for something for the website a while ago, and he's like, "Sorry, I just kept on meeting the Gangrel." I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Funny enough, John was the first Silverline crew that I met because I showed up to Infinity
Nice.
early, and he was already set up. I was like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?"
Nice.
Yeah, and he was super cool just to chat with him.
Yeah, whenever I went over to the other building there at Daytona, he introduced me to everybody he knew over there, and he knew everybody in that building.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in that.
Yeah, everybody was wondering. When I got back to the Silverline table, they were like, "Where have you been?"
Right.
Well,
I got kidnapped.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're past the hour mark, so does anyone have any other thoughts or follow-ups or kind of ideas celebrating comic books, comic culture as we approach National Comic Book Day? Any other thoughts or things that you find really cool and interesting about comic books that not many people may think about? Things you think people should do to celebrate?
I just want to say that it's not a dangerous job by any means, but if you enjoy comics, if you like them, just remember that the people who are behind those, they're not getting rich. They're just trying to make a living doing what they love to do, and something panels that you rush through whenever you're reading actually took more than one person to really spend a lot of time on.
Right.
And so if you don't already, and I'm sure most people who are, if you're watching this show, you probably do, and if you've made it this far, you absolutely do like comics and love comics, and you probably already do this. But
Or you think we're funny?
yeah, give a little, give a little bit of reverence when you go through that comic. Kind of take a little extra time because somebody really poured over that thing and put their heart into it. When we went to Daytona Beach Comic Con, seeing some of these guys that's been in it for a while, they're not rich guys. They're not, but it's just something that they love doing. It's a thing that they just love. And, it's really, it's really a cool art form. And, little bit of respect to all the comic creators that I've always ever read and never really paid much attention to. So,
I never got to meet.
never got, man, I've got a list and they're passing away before I could meet them. So,
Right.
yeah.
And I would say growing up, I never hid the fact that I read comics. I was always pretty proud of it because I love the art. But it definitely didn't make me any friends in school, be it junior high or high school. And now all these things that I loved and I loved reading and I loved like talking about with my other artist friends, you know what I mean, growing up, like these are the things we did. We talked about, oh, where's this storyline going? I bet this is going to do this, you know what I mean? Much like a lot of people do, like watching wrestling and stuff like that, right? And now all these people are like, oh yeah, I love Marvel Universe, MCU, and I love this and that and whatnot. It's like I was there first, guys. I was there first.
Exactly.
And you missed the Underoos era. I just want to get out there.
Yes.
Love that one. Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Underoos and the pouches.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good feeling being the go-to wiki for the friends. So like going to see Eternals, the movie ends and everyone just kind of leans over.
Yep.
I was like, all right, well, in the Neil Gaiman run, this.
That's kind of the way. I was never really familiar with the Eternals, but every MCU movie we watch, my wife's like, now, who is this now? Or she's always asking me questions, and they're, I was always ever familiar with the ones that I kept up with. When it came to like Guardians of the Galaxy, seeing that movie and seeing those characters for me, because I never really closely followed any of them, and like the Eternals, hey, news to me. I know a little bit about it, but not. It was as interesting for me as it was for most people. But yeah, that's pretty funny how that works. Well, you're a comic guy. You don't know?
Yeah.
My brother will call me up when the first thing that comes out of his mouth, if it's "I hate you," I know he saw a movie that he was able to explain and hates the fact that he was able to explain.
Yes.
Yep.
No, I have to have like weekly sit downs with my family when they're like watching like Sandman or She-Hulk or whatever is currently on the time.
Right.
Yep. One of my favorite things that I think people should do, what I try to do sometimes, if you're wanting to celebrate National Comic Book Day and you want to go out with your normal purchasing, or you just want to find something that you want to do, I have the encyclopedias for the publishers. You don't need to do that. You can just go to the Marvel Wiki, DC Wiki, or Image or Dark Horse Wiki, whatever you want to do. Just find some whatever comic wiki or comic thing. Hit the random page. Just do that a couple times. Find a character you think is interesting. Go to the shop, buy their book.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Just, try something new. Explore. There is so much comic book content. And not a
yeah. There's something on it. There is something for everybody in comics.
And for the record, also, that applies for Silverline Comics as well.
That's right.
We have all kinds of genres for stuff.
If you missed the Kickstarter, go by Indie Planet. We got stuff all over Indie Planet. Follow us on Facebook. Get on Facebook. Check out our titles. And speaking of, there's something for everybody. Man, Silverline has got a host of stuff from
We got
We got
superheroes.
sci-fi. We got fantasy.
sci-fi.
We have horror now.
We have
from
spy
this last
stories.
Spy
Kickstarter.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, spy. We got history, revisionist history. We've got, ha, Tim,
Alternate history.
bastardizing the history of these young people are going to be reading your book. We got Steam Patriots. We got Wolf Hunter. We got all. I mean, we got Kalis. We got that's in the history department and the revisionist history.
Yeah.
Right? We got
We have-
obsoletes. We got sci-fi with
Yes.
obsoletes. We got
Yep. Kalis has got some sci-fi.
Yep.
X-Files.
Beyond the
You got
Stars.
Heroes. Got Cat and Mouse. You got Champion and Miss Fury. You got horror with Twilight Grim just kickstarted and completed their Kickstarter, and
Yeah, that
books
was
are on the way to
awesome.
folks. I mean, we got so many titles. I mean, how many Kickstarters have we completed so far? 20, and I think this
About or a little
Is
bit,
it
maybe a
really?
little over. Yeah.
is completed 20.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
by the way, these are gone. These are out the door.
Mhm.
These are like people will
Ship
have them
package,
in
yeah.
their hands.
We are about to have a Winnie the Pooh vampire story.
Winnie the
That's
Pooh
right.
by night.
See,
Right?
Yes.
Working title. Working title.
yeah. It's gonna be a flip book. Half of it's gonna be Pooh, and the other half's gonna be the juicing mushroom skateboarder.
Right.
Yeah,
No. We need to time it so it kickstarts along with the next issue of Bear.
yes, yes. We got something for the kids and something for the adults.
Yep.
That's right.
But that is true too. We've got stuff for all
Yes.
ages. So I haven't, but all of it is, even though it's not, all of it's not themes that you'd want just anybody reading. Honestly, realistically, a 10-year-old could go through our books and still grow up to be a healthy individual and not be,
Healthy-ish.
soiled, have their brain.
I was a wee child when I was scrolling through FX late at night and Aliens or Predator was on. Or
Alien Nation.
I got to watch anything I wanted to growing up.
there we go.
Anything, which is probably why I had a lot of nightmares, which is probably what led to me being able to, being
Exactly.
into art and stuff.
It's all creative fuel, yeah.
That's
yes,
right.
yeah,
Nightmare fuel is creative fuel.
Exactly.
yeah.
A child's trauma is their future magnum opus.
That's
For
the
instance,
underlying theme of Pooh by Night.
Yeah.
when I was young, we didn't really have any superheroes movies.
Yeah.
Movies. They could not make one. They could not make a good one. They took their stab at it a few times, but this was one of my superheroes, movie wise. I got to show this real quick.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to show this.
I mean, you
You're
already got
alive,
to put
you're
together.
coming with me.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh,
Oh, that's dope.
Dude, that is all. I didn't even know he did that.
Man, I
That-
quoted that movie for
Oh, yeah.
months.
I'll buy that for $1. Oh man. And the part there where what's his name goes in and he's fixing to take that guy out, that not CEO but the corporate guy, and he says, I'll change the word, witches leave.
Mhm. Yes.
That's such a good movie.
Yes.
I actually like the remake. I mean, it wasn't fabulous, but
I liked it. I mean,
it
it
was-
was
yeah, it was
good
decent.
for
I haven't checked it out. I heard it's interesting. I think it's interesting now is people are coming around in a similar vein. People are starting to come around on Blade Runner 2049
is that
recent-
the one with what's his name?
with Jared Leto, which
Jared Leto.
he was the Voight Kampf.
No, I meant the dude from the Notebook.
Oh yes, yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Whatever
Yes.
his name is.
Yeah.
Yes,
I-
I saw the Notebook. I'm married.
Remember that, Jose. Ryan
Yes.
Gosling.
If you've been if you're at any point in the 2010s, you're in a committed relationship, you've seen The Notebook.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I actually heard a lot of people come because I liked it, but it didn't hit me as hard as the original did. But I know at first it kind of got blasted in reviews, but now people are coming around and saying like,
I
actually on
thought
second viewing, I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty chill story, like all the way
Yeah.
across. Like it wasn't like I said, it wasn't to me. It wasn't like riveting, like because Rutger Hauer wasn't in it. Rutger Hauer was
Right.
the man, but
Yeah.
like the way the story played out, like I thought it was pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
in the end, I was like, oh, I did
Mhm.
not see that.
Man, I always loved Rutger Hauer. He played in a lot of movies, a lot of underrated movies too. A lot of
Hobo with a
underrated movies.
shotgun.
Yes.
Dude, he played a blind swords like martial arts guy in a movie. It was awesome. I can't remember the name of it, but
Crossroads.
was that
That
it?
was, no, that was
Man,
a
I
good one.
love that guy. He he's just one of those guys that just totally underrated, like Sean Bean that gets killed in everything he goes in. I mean, I
Yeah.
wish
Who
I
was I
could watch
talking
a
about that
movie
with?
where he's the main character and he doesn't die.
Well, that was his. I forgot, Jupiter Ascending. In his contract, he said he couldn't die
Really?
because he's coming off of Game of Thrones, and he's like,
Oh.
"Man, I just had like the most brutal death in a while. Like, I got people got to stop."
I'm starting to get a complex.
Yeah. Mark Spears says Blind Fury.
That's it. That's the movie. That was a good movie. There was another one that he was in where I think the movie was ahead of its time, and I don't know why it wasn't a blockbuster, but there was an alien in the movie that was going around taking people out, and he was against the alien. I cannot remember it, but anyway, it was an awesome movie. I always loved Rutger Hauer, and he just never could. I don't know what it is. He just never could. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was always used as a secondary character.
There's a lot of actors who like their skill set is like entirely in being like a really strong character actor, and if they can
Right.
make it work and get a following with that, we're part of it.
Yeah.
But also speaking of underrated and perhaps one of the best ways you can support comic artists if you have a little more than $5 that you're willing to use for National Comic Book Day. I don't know if anyone else has their commissions open online, but you can go to any of these Silverline creators and check their bios. If they say commissions open, send them a DM and buy a commission.
I don't know if mine actually says. I should go look, but my commissions are open.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I can do some as well.
yeah, there you go. Buy yourself some unique art. Support comic creators, and yeah, nature commission is gonna be something that's entirely your own.
Oh yeah, I love to do original stuff from people.
Mhm.
Absolutely, I love doing that. Like if you have like of course everybody likes Spider-Man and other things like that, and I love to do those too. But man, if you got an idea and you just want to put some something like some concept art of a character that you have, hey,
Right.
we can do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
were you guys? I know my computer internet was being wonky, but were you guys able to see my Clayface piece?
Yes.
Yes.
So cool.
Because like as soon as I brought it up, all of a sudden it was like, "Yeet."
Oh no. Now, you died a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
But
Well,
yeah. Man, we talk a lot.
we do.
Yeah, I
Suck
know
it.
you've been trying to end the show here for about 20 minutes.
No, I've been vamping until about now.
Oh.
Yes, but yeah. So, any closing thoughts before we do run that last bit?
Yeah, Mark Spears said I saw Quentin's stuff on Instagram. Great stuff. Thank you, Mark.
Right.
I just did I've been looking into Instagram and I've been trying to get better on my social
Mhm.
media. So like 2 nights ago, I just dumped like a lot of stuff on
Oh, I
Instagram.
know.
There's like 40 different pieces on there.
Like
So
all of a
if
sudden,
your
I was
phone,
seeing like Todd Knock and Peter Quinton.
Yep. So if your phone blew up, I'm sorry, but I was just like, I'm trying to figure this thing out, guys.
Yes.
So
Yep. I need to post more TikTok stuff, but my Twitter has been popping off of late. So if you want to see funny Twitter directions, that's mostly what I do.
I'll do more TikTok stuff as soon as I get the poll installed in
There
my
you go.
office here.
Yes.
I can't really do any pole dancing without the pole. So
That's
But-
just lazy. Come
Yeah.
on.
My favorite thing on TikTok recently has been there's been a writer who's gone through and he's doing words in English that you've been mispronouncing because you've only read them. And it's always
That's
words.
amazing.
Yes, but as he goes through, words get a little more common, and he starts horribly mispronouncing them. So definitely like going through like query, algazam, all this other stuff, and he gets to like subtle, but he says subtle. And then it just goes on from there until it ends with analysis for analysis.
What the?
analysis.
Yep,
It's like
It's
a
just
anal
like that,
terrorist.
Tim lost 20 hours.
exactly. Yeah.
I'll definitely do that, Mark. He says you need to post more Instagram stuff, maybe one a day. That
Yes.
is,
Feed the
yeah, you're
algorithm.
absolutely right. And
Yeah.
I was starting to do that. I do these things. And Jose, you might be interested in this too. I don't know what you do, but sometimes I do these sketches in my notebook, and I call them coffee doodles because I limit myself on how long I have to spend on them. And like I'll have a cup of coffee, and I cannot take longer than it takes me to get through the cup of
Nice.
coffee to do them. And like this one I did on the plane ride back from Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rory Warbeard.
Yes.
Yeah, oh Rory Boyle, and it got me to like so I fill up these little sketchbooks.
That's
See,
cool.
that's like a little coffee doodle, and
Yeah.
this is little
Hey, I
doodles.
recognize some of those.
Yeah, I'm actually working on trying to do some characters that we have here at Silverline. Because I'm fixed to be doing some stuff there. Actually, that's what I've been working on here. But yeah, I need to be posting stuff daily.
I did I'll have to find it, but I did some stuff I sent to Roland, and one of it was cat and mouse, chibi cat and mouse.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chibis are cool.
Yeah, it was never really my thing, but my daughter's doing it, and I can't let her look better than me. So 'cause right now she's winning.
Well, maybe Mark, I'll make that a have to do morning coffee doodle and post it if
There you
I
go.
don't post
Right.
anything else. I have
That'd
a
be cool.
couple coming down the pike right now, but I can't post them because I did them for people, and my rule is I don't post stuff that I do for people unless they're okay with it or they give me the go ahead.
Right.
Because some people don't want stuff posted, and sometimes people have gifts for people,
Right.
which is kind of, I've got a really good piece right now that I just finished before the show. I can't show it. Oh, I love it too.
I appreciate that, and
I
I
agree with that.
agree.
Yes.
I know BJ, like if anybody that posts art, BJ on her Facebook page, she had made mention about there's like a time, like a prime time to when to post your stuff on Instagram. I didn't know that. Like I was going through her stuff, and I think I talked to her about it. And but yeah, like she said around like was it like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever is when the prime one of the prime times to post your stuff.
About
so not 3 in the morning, is that?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. About 9 or 10 West Coast time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
all right. Well, that has been that Silverline show on Tuesday. Any closing thoughts from anyone?
Make my Silverline?
Yes.
I'll share my screen real quick just to give
Oh,
y'all
there you
because people are watching the show. I would have been working on this, but I don't know. I don't want to let out too much right now. Probably next week you'll be seeing me full on working on this during the show. I just don't know how much I can let out of this yet. Share screen.
He's gonna zoom in and just be one line. That's it.
Yeah. I've got this is pretty much the rough layout, and what I've been doing is notice how rough? No face.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. But we got these. Right? That's the most crucial part.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. So this is what I've been working on since we've been talking here.
I saw Haley's some of like what she was working at the moment at Daytona. Haley's Martin's roughs for Beta 2.
Yeah.
And like hers are like really rough. And then I saw the cleanup panels. I'm like, this to me is like such a vast difference from like what she had compared to what the finished product was. I just think it was cool.
Yeah, mine are pretty rough. Even from there, if I'm coloring a piece too, a lot of times the inks, I try to finish out the inks, even though when I color it, there's a lot of the inks I may not even use because I'll paint stuff in like skies and stuff.
Right, and
backgrounds.
then take out the holding line.
Right, but I made a rule to myself that go ahead and finish out the ink so that is a separate piece. Like if ever I want to show it,
right?
I can show it, and it can be something that I show aside from the finished. So. Yeah, sometimes I go a far piece away when I get to coloring, because some things you can do with color you just can't do with ink,
No.
And,
right.
But anyway, that's my final thoughts.
Okay.
This RoboCop is cool.
RoboCop is cool.
RoboCop is cool.
All right. Well, we will be back next week for a topic which I don't have written down. But if you want more Silverline content, come back here 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for Wednesday Wham, and 8 p.m. Eastern Sunday for Silver Sunday. We got no Kickstarter at the moment. Our other one just finished up, so thank you to those who backed that. I'll get to work on tentatively doing a Vampire the Masquerade stream October 5th. So I'll post that in the chat along with our comic pitch to get everyone ready for that.
Hey, do we need to dress up or anything?
If you want to, absolutely.
Oh, this is just getting better and better. It's getting better and better.
Yes. All right. So yeah, after we get ready for that, I'll get some stuff prepared. Hopefully, it'll be a good time for all. Yeah, we'll be back next week. So until then, make mine
Silverline, baby. We're going to have to put that on the end.
Yes. All right, great show, everybody. Quentin, is that something that's posted in chat?
What now?
It looks like you had something else.
Oh yeah. I want.
Hi, my name is Sergio Cariello, and make mine Silverline.